Hey everyone. So, paper and pen, might need it for this journey. Also something lovely to sip on if that's what you like to do. I do. I have my water here with me. And welcome to day 3 today. This is our third and final day together. I think we've had quite a journey these past couple days. We've released a lot, we've built up, and you really have the tools now to have a heart-guided, soul-guided life. And it's really about just making that commitment and that action every day now. So let's drop in to this session today. So let's close the eyes if that's available to you. And just get in the body. Feel what is touching you, how it feels on your skin, how supported you are by the earth, how the earth is rising to meet you. And with a deep breath, as you breathe in, reach your breath up to the sun. So breathe in up to the sun and exhale out to the sun as well. The next in-breath, take the energy of the sun and bring it down into your heart. And then exhale into your heart as well. Next in-breath, we're going to breathe down to the earth, to the center core of the earth, and exhale into the earth as well. On the in-breath, you bring the energy of the earth into your heart, and exhale that energy into your heart as well. Now just breathe easily and allow yourself to feel the mixing of the energies of the sun and of the earth in your body. Feel yourself anchored and rooted into that center of the earth to which you sent and received the breath. And feel yourself intrinsically and always connected to the star of our system, the sun, the great life giver, how you are intrinsically loved and supported and unconditionally connected to these two life-giving entities, how they mix in your body, how their energies support and give life. And that no matter what happens and no matter how life is seeming to be, these two givers are always with us. This original mother and father of this body, of this soul experience. Just have a couple breaths with that knowledge. So today I want to give you a little bit more content, just a couple bonus things to really solidify our journey into this year of a year by design, a year of our own design, because now we have the tools, the rooted feeling of how it is to create a life from our own heart. So let me just get into those before we move into the questions. We're going to touch on how to navigate the feeling of not enoughness and also how to navigate the feeling of failure. So these are two things that do come up throughout a year of life and are sometimes something that can pull us in their current if we are not aware of them and aware of how to manage and stay in our heart as we move through these kind of feelings. We're also going to touch on knowing our strengths. And we're also going to talk about something that I called recognizing the cauldron. And then we're going to move into questions. And there's a couple of those that are really beautiful. So, okay, navigating the feeling of not enoughness. So we shared the tool of who is it that. So it's really valuable, this kind of tool. And to begin, it's really valuable to understand when we are feeling not enough. So this can really just pop up onto our sphere seemingly out of nowhere. This can really surprise us that, we're really rocking our life, we're activating our creativity, we're focused on love and our projects, and then all of a sudden, in one moment, it can just switch and be like, boom, there is something that is now feeling like, wow, I don't know if I can go on. I don't know if I'm good enough. Oh, this is really like I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm not sure now. So when we recognize those kind of feelings, we can use those tools that we have of being with it, recognizing it, and unearthing ourselves into that place of, well, what's happening here? What am I really feeling? And this can be a really strong tide of emotion. And that's perfect. Whatever is right. So just understanding and seeing the emotion for what it is the key first part to just be, like be in that perspective of that storm that's happening in our minds and our bodies, like seemingly in our hearts. And from that place, move into a simple, gentle questioning of who is it that feels that they are not enough? Who is it that feels that they're not enough? Who is it that feels overwhelmed? And there's really no end goal here. This is just a practice of self-inquiry and of seeing the layers that are here. And beyond the layers, there is a deeper truth. So this isn't important of like quickly clearing the emotion. It's possible. And we're not here to like shut off on emotion and push it away. We're here to feel what is and have the tool to be with it in a space that doesn't pull us under and really like take over our mentality and the way we view the world, for days or a week or something. So just being with it gently and saying, okay, well, who is it that feels sad? Who is it that feels unloved? There's also the flip of this, of who is it. Another way to work with this is to claim the emotion, and in claiming it, we sort of actually move away from it. So this isn't an affirmation, although it may sound like it. This is actually a way to see what's happening. So we can say, I am my fear of not enoughness. I am my fear of failure. I am my fear of being invaluable. So you kind of repeat whatever the emotion is. I am my fear of, or I am my feeling of. And in that way, we move apart from that emotion, actually. We start to, like, the fears and the feelings inside of us are connected, like chain reactions or like bubbles. And then as we pop one, another one can be revealed. And usually there'll be like a chain of 2 or 3 of these, and they'll get down to like a really core fear or feeling of maybe abandonment or a fear of death, even a fear of like, everything in our life disappearing and us just being alone. And then if we're alone, we're going to die. Okay. So we're getting real deep, real fast today in this session. This is so vital though. And if we are to take this and work with this for a couple of minutes a day or a couple of minutes when we're feeling a really strong emotion, this can really help us move through it with consciousness. So just to honor the emotion for what it is, to feel it, and to have this kind of tool of, I am my fear of failure. I am my fear of failure. And if that one pops, then you move to like, I am my fear of not being good enough, or whatever comes up next. And then eventually it will start kind of sounding like, oh, that doesn't resonate anymore. Or, oh, that kind of sounds maybe ridiculous now. I am my fear of letting my soul shine. I am my fear of letting my soul shine. And eventually they'll kind of sound like, well, no, I'm not afraid of that anymore. And that's kind of the part that we're going to get to eventually with this. And this is a really great tool to be facilitated in as well, to have someone witness us in this. This has been super transformative for me, and it is what I share with my clients and my friends, because this is such a penetrating insight It seems, again, like such a strange sentence or so simple, and at the same time, it's super effective. So I really wanted to share this with you because there's probably going to be moments during our year when something like this comes up. So I just really want you to have like that paddle, to row yourself forward if that comes up for you. Yeah, it's just really vital for us to go forward in any small way because time is flowing forward with us in it. Our day is transitioning from morning into night, and we are kind of like floating with it. So as we move ourselves forward in any small way with consciousness, that is a win. That is beauty. That is a soul-aligned life. So when we just accept ourselves fully for what is happening and also respect ourselves enough to take a tool and use it with kindness and self-gentleness, that is such a beautiful way to love ourselves into our highest life. And that's what I want for all of us. So with that also comes tied the feeling of failure. This can also be something that really ambushes us. Like, we had some exam or we had some presentation and then we feel like, wow, that didn't go as I really wanted. And then all of a sudden a feeling of, it's the same not enoughness that washes over us, a feeling of failure, a feeling of like, oh, now I'm kind of back to square one. Like, how's my life going to change? I don't know what's happening now. So again, just coming back to presence, coming back to listening, and taking those moments that we shared in the first class of, yeah, that's a really challenging move to sit with this. I'm not going to call that one simple. I'm going to say that's challenging sometimes. To just be with it. And again, like open the heart and okay, just let that feeling, ride with that feeling for the time that it stays with you with, at the same time knowing that that's not your true divine God-given self. Just knowing that, okay, right now I'm seeing this, I'm feeling this, and at the same time, I know that there's more to the picture. So just having this kind of the knowing that there's more than this, and right now I'm in this. This is very effective. Yeah, just like in that time, we return to the practices, we return to, sometimes, we just return to inaction. So this is something we mentioned in the previous class in day 2, just inaction. Just if that's the most right activity, like inaction being the right action in that moment, then that is perfect. That is something that is very effective, to just be with, not move, not even speak, not even try to process it with like someone external right away. We can wait and let the emotion kind of be and you will sense when it's right, when it's kind of like settled in you, and you'll begin to see yourself and see the waves and be able to step back and look at it. And then that could be a really good time to ask for someone to witness you speak of the patterns that you're noticing, to witness you speak about your process. And in that moment of like turmoil, it may be right to just be more like held or nurtured, like physically, non-verbally. So this is just something I wanted to touch upon, just to give you that kind of like permission and those small little tools to move you in an effective way, should that be something that you step into during the year. So with that, there's something that ties into that, and that's knowing your strengths. So as you kind of get over the hump of something that's come up for you to see, to process, to release on your road of a soul-guided life, as some emotion of like sadness or failure of not enoughness has come up, it's come up because you're available to deal with it now, that's a perfect time for you to feel your way through it. And as you are on that hump of like feeling your way through it, you will start to see your strengths. You will start to see kind of like a divine like righteousness, not an entitlement, but a divine like righteousness, like a divine strength of like, hey, you know what? This will be different. I deserve an amazing life. I deserve abundance. I deserve an amazing relationship. I deserve respect. Whatever it is that your feeling is coming up about, you may start to, like, as you near the hump of moving through it, you may see kind of like this blazing fire of claiming your best life out of the ashes of what you have just felt. So in that, like, relish that moment when you start to be like, you know what? I am capable. I am a potent force of moving myself forward. I can make the best of this. I can see myself through this. And really, like, that's a great time to journal, to like write down what you're seeing, write down your revelations. And then that's something you can come back to as your personal affirmations, your personal soul words that you can use. So this is really about like honoring and loving and like relishing each step of the process. And this is actually some deep tantra. You may have heard the word tantra in like a sexual context. And, you know, really the deepest tantra is being with the moment to its fullest. And that's why it's referenced mostly in a sexual context, because that's a time when we can very obviously kind of get ourselves into being with the sensations and the experiences that are, though like true tantra is a moment by moment, full life, anytime kind of experience. So this is what we're talking about right now, is tantra. So fully being with what is, feeling it, knowing that you are actually a divine creator, a soul-aligned, heart-guided activator that's right now experiencing some feeling of restriction or some feeling of not enoughness or whatever it may be, being with it, being through it, getting over the humps and the waves of it, seeing your strengths and your divine righteous claiming of your best life as you emerge out of it, and letting that like inspire you and fuel you into the next experiences. This is the dance of life, you know, this is it. We can practice and have beautiful moments and have inspiration, and then, you know, something will come. There will be a wave of cleansing from our heart, because we all carry some degree of pain, some degree of confusion in our heart, some degree of separation from, you know, a perceived, like it's not real, we're never actually separate, but some degree of like perceived confused feeling of separateness, perceived confused feeling of that we can't even be abandoned, which we cannot, because we're intrinsically intertwined with all life. Our life is the life of everything. We are part of that life web. But when those confused pieces come up, then we know, like, from that place of, okay, there's more than this, and there's this right now, and we flow with it. So that's the real stuff. I wanted to give that to you today as some extra materials that came up for me to share with you, because I think that can be very useful throughout the year. So now I just want to say something about recognizing the cauldron. And this is really incredible. Also ties into everything we've just spoken about. So the cauldron is life, is the divinely orchestrated experiences of this life that maybe we don't fully see how it's so perfect for us to experience this kind of thing right now. Oh, well, why? I hope this should be different. And at the same time, it's perfectly designed for us, for our growth, to kind of like pressure cook us and catapult us into the next stage of our evolution. So if we feel that at this moment in our life, something is so not as it should be, there's like this friction, there's kind of like, well, there's this relationship, why and how is it like this? You know, and it's teaching us and like cooking us so we can claim our next best life experience. And, you know, this happens with abundance as well. If we're not experiencing the abundance, like monetarily or in any level of life that allows us to express our best soul, highest expression, that's cooking us too, to finally claim and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to change this. And it's our birthright. It's our gift to change our lives, to change them in any way that we see fit, with the complete power that we are endowed with in every moment. And this is what all these days have been about: showing, connecting, and claiming this true divine power that we all have. So I love that. I love, to just view life as divinely designed for me, and to like pressure cook me to pop out of the cocoon into the next level of the butterfly. And I have this image of us all moving through different stages of cocoon to butterfly, then cocoon again. So there's not really like one experience of emergence in life. There could be one major one, or there could be like several major ones, is what I'm seeing for me personally. That said, when we have an experience of emergence, of breaking open a cocoon, of being with that friction, breaking it open, stepping out, those experiences are invaluable to have with us as we move forward into our next phases of life, because we will be outgrowing all phases of our life. The journey is a spiral of like ever increasing, ever kind of growing spirals, where we keep seeing like similar situations from a more evolved and a more evolved perspective. So we have like our kind of allotted unique lives, where we see our unique visions of this experience of life, of creation. And in seeing them and in participating in the work of evolving ourselves consciously, we like step into seeing those places from larger and larger perspectives, larger and larger capacities of love and compassion for the perspectives that we have. And then we go and we share those with each other, and that's really something that's so vital too. And I think a lot of people right now are moving into a phase of life where we are sharing ourselves, sharing our journeys with each other more and more, really kind of holding each other's hands and moving forward together. So I am being pulled forward by someone, like gently pulled forward into more love, into more kindness, and I'm holding the hands of my friends, my clients, my family, and pulling them gently ever forward into more love, more kindness. So together we're moving forward. And I find this just so beautiful that I see so many more people, so many more of us now, more bravely, more authentically, just stepping into our lives, really claiming our authentic magnificence, our authentic desires for what we want in this life. And I really just want to support you on that journey. Like, I really bow to you. I really honor you for being here and for saying, yeah, I want a little bit more amazingness in my life, because I know so much more amazingness is possible. I imagine that that's what we're all saying. So yeah, we have so much capacity, and we really only need just, a couple perspectives, a couple simple ground practices, and our lives are capable of embodying all this greatness that we know in our hearts to be true. And each of us has unique greatness, and we can celebrate each other for that and be with each other in that space of just seeing what people bring. We're all here to learn little pieces of the puzzle and together combine it into this like planetary, incredible journey that we're on. So that really excites me consistently, and it excites me to support you in that. So thank you so much for showing up and being here to do this kind of work and experience and play. Okay, so let's move into the questions. We got some really amazing questions that came in, and I just want to thank you for offering those up for all of us to experience the question and the answer together. Well, hopefully there will be some answer. I'm just going to give you my perspective and my version of it as I've been doing all along, and then you can see if that resonates for you. So one of the questions we have is about beliefs from the first session. And the question is, at some points I notice that I have some beliefs. I try to release them, and at some points I feel that these beliefs are true and helpful, and I don't really want to release them. What would you say about that? Okay, so this is a super great question because, well, we did mention at first that there are beliefs that are helpful. So let's just touch on that for a moment. There are beliefs that can move us forward in life. And even that is a belief. We can say that almost everything we have is a belief. Almost everything that we're putting into words becomes a belief because it's a construct of like a verbal construct. So because the truth doesn't even need to be spoken. As soon as we create something into words, put it into a sentence, it's that much further from the truth, like the true ineffable kind of experiences, are not beliefs. As soon as we start to talk about them and say, oh, that was a really good experience, then that becomes a belief. Anyways, that said, we do live in this verbal world to some extent. We do have like verbal experiences and interactions. So let's work with that. So there are some beliefs that will be helpful to us, such as the belief that I am capable of changing my life. I deserve a good life. Those are two beliefs that could really serve us to hold those beliefs. It is easy to shift my perspective. That's also a helpful belief. So as much as we work on dismantling all beliefs and letting them go into like the wordless truth of existence, at the same time, if we wish to, keep some, then let's look at the ones and just say like, okay, well, how does this help me live? How does talking about this, rehearsing this belief, how does it help me live a better life? Does it help me live a better life? If it does, great. To what extent? And also, to what extent do I need to keep like speaking this belief to myself or to someone else? Or to what extent do I need to like expound it? Or to what extent can I just like exist in the truth that this belief may point at and just, relax into that? So it's great to even like pinpoint our beliefs. Even that is a really amazing, like, next level journey. So, thank you for this question, because it means that you are actually pinpointing beliefs and questioning them. And that is an incredible experience already. So I hope that that discussion elucidated a little bit more about that. Okay, then we have someone that asked to go deeper into explaining the relationship between expectations and resentment. Yeah, I love this one because this is actually tied to beliefs now that I'm looking at this. And so expectations are to some extent beliefs, because we have maybe an expectation that this person will act in this way, or this person should do that. They should clean up after themselves, or they should yada, yada, yada. So just even like speaking the word should, we've already put a belief and an expectation on someone. So when we have this kind of expectation, we then expect that to happen. And very often what we expect, especially from other people and from the world at large, from life at large, it will not come true in that way. It will not manifest in that way occasionally or frequently. So when we expect another person to act a certain way and then they don't, then internally, even subconsciously, we may start to have something happen like, well, they need to clean up after themselves and they didn't, and they should have known to do so. And now like I'm upset about that and I'm going to like ruminate on that. And over time, that kind of feeling builds resentment. So we start to kind of like harbor these like negative vibrations towards that person because they didn't meet our expectations. So how do we navigate this? What do we do about this? For first of all, recognizing our expectations, just like recognizing our beliefs, recognizing our expectations. Sometimes in partnership, in families, even in like business meetings or whatever kind of experience that you're having with another person, it could be useful to speak our expectations, and then flip them to kind of be like an invitation, a desire, kind of say, it would really help me, so keep it like self-referential, it would really help me if you participated in cleaning up this space. I would really love to see this space be clean. Can you help me do that? And then that person has their freedom to say, yeah, I'm capable of that. And then to honor that or not honor that, right? That's another chain in the reaction. Or they have, and then so you've spoken it, it's out in the open, it's communicated. It's no longer like a subconscious belief, expectation, belief. It's no longer a subconscious desire for something to happen. It's now out in the open and both parties can communicate about it. When this happens with our life, like we expect our life to be pleasant or be easy. And when it's not, and someone treats us in an unjust way, or something happens during the day that causes us frustration, we get resentful. And like, oh, like, how come this happened? I really thought today was going to be a good day. And then we're kind of like stewing this resentment thing. So again, letting go of the expectations about life. And it's really awesome to just play the game of life in the sense of, well, what's going to happen today? Well, how's this person going to act? How's this going to be? So really like bringing the focus back to us, doing our best to cultivate ourselves to live in the best way that we are capable of, to communicate in the best way that we are capable of, and then leave everything else up to other people, up to, life experiences to manifest themselves as they will. And as they do, we kind of get to like meet them and play with them and interact with them and go further with them. So instead of harboring expectations as a way to kind of like try to control, because that's what they are, they're methods of control, as like holding like this rigid pole that we're like navigating life with, we're kind of more fluid. Maybe we're just like not even holding anything, or we're kind of like in the water with life, moving as it moves us and enjoying the ride. So that's kind of the deeper perspective on expectations and resentment. And I guess just one more thing that's coming up to say about that is that holding expectations, especially in a romantic connection, can really lead to the dismantling and the dissolution of the romance, of the passion and the relationship itself, because we're then like building like a little mountain of resentment from those expectations that don't get met. We then put them in the resentment pile, So then if we just scrap that game altogether, if we just scrap expectations to the greatest of our ability every single day and meet life as it is, we're not playing that game anymore. And we can just let passion live, let joy live to the greatest extent that we're capable of more and more every day. Okay. So another question is, what if I have a situation in my life that I cannot leave, I cannot change the person, and I feel drained and this is affecting my life? Okay, so let me try to kind of like reword that question and try to understand it. So what I'm hearing is that, I'm guessing that this is about like the energy leaks in the first day, that how, there might be like certain situations in our life where a person might be like rehearsing negative information with us or negative perspectives. So we can't leave that person because we're in some like committed, like maybe a family interaction with them or whatever that may be, or a job interaction. I can't change the person, so we can't like maybe this person has tried and they haven't been able to shift the perspective or the conversation, and then this person also feels drained and saying that it's affecting their life. So yes. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely a challenge. This is definitely something to work with. I would say this is one of like the higher order challenges of life in general, to be in consistent relationship with a person where they are on a different vibration than we find ourselves, that they're just living life in a way that we find distracting to our path of soul-guided experiences. Maybe we find it distracting to our path of staying in love and patience. Maybe this is triggering us when we come in contact with this person. I know that this is definitely part of like family dynamics. So there's no simple simple answer to this, because as much as we can in contact with this person during our private time, we can really cultivate ourselves. When we come into relationship with this person, the trigger might still be there. So this is why I say that this is one of the more challenging experiences of life overall. So there's a couple things here, and this is like the advanced kind of level that I would say this is really effective to work with, specifically uniquely in person on this kind of thing. And I'm just going to try to give it to you here as a broad perspective. First of all, definitely continue to cultivate yourself in your practices. I would say continue to intend in general to hold more love, to hold more compassion, and practice that during your neutral times so that you have more of a chance of leaning on that when you are in a triggering situation with this kind of person. Okay, so then now when we're in presence with this person, we're coming back to that practice of not saying anything. This is really crucial because there could be so many moments. Triggers are like, they're like open wounds, or they're like doorbells. People just press them and we ding. Someone says knock knock and we say who's there. So the key is not to say who's there, not to say who's there every time that someone knocks. Okay, so to just find that moment of inside, you feel like you're boiling, and at the same time, just witness it. Don't speak right away. Don't answer right away, because you've already mentioned that maybe you've tried to have a conversation with this person. It's always good to come back to conversations, when the time seems as neutral as you feel it can be. Not speak at all and you ignore that person. That's just, and this is really a challenge. So when you feel your body like wanting to react and wanting to interact and like respond right away, breathing. This is all that's really available to us in every moment. The breath is constantly with us, and we can breathe and consciously like expand ourselves, expand our sensations, expand our body. Also, like stretching is a really good thing, just to like move the energy through your body so that it doesn't get stuck there and you turn people and cross to actually stay open bodily. Like you can choose to do this meditation like we did in the opening of this class, where we breathed up to the sun, exhale to the sun, breathe the sun down into the heart, exhale into the heart, root down by breathing into the earth, exhaling to the earth, breathing the core of the earth up into our heart, exhaling to the heart, merging those energies and just focusing on that. So we can also do certain rituals to bring like forgiveness and more calm into our relationship with this person. So we can get really creative here and create our own rituals. Or there's a couple like other rituals that I could share with you maybe at another time. But I would say maybe like dedicating a plant, that if you have some plants in your house, dedicating that plant to be like, this is my plant that's dedicated to peace in my connection with this person. And every time that I water this plant, I remember my intention of peace and clarity and calm in my connection with this person. So a ritual, like a simple ritual like that, I would say don't tell anybody that you're doing this. Don't tell anybody which plant it is, and just keep this to yourself to really like nurture the energy of this intention. You can kind of make your own thing as you go along. There's so many tools. The point is to, hold the belief that you are capable of consistently being more calm in these situations. You are capable of nurturing yourself into a better and better experience, a more calm experience. So I'm spending so much time with this exact question because I know that this is so pertinent for so many of us. I know that a lot of us might have a person like this in our lives in whatever capacity, someone that really challenges us. And of course, this is about a connection where you're physically and even like emotionally safe to continue a connection with this person. This isn't about like maintaining an abusive connection with someone and like trying to stay in that. So this is, I'm leaving it to you to use your discernment that this is actually like a connection that is safe to stay in, and just that it's triggering to you, even like vastly triggering, though safe on other levels. So I hope that at least some of this is helpful to create in that kind of interaction. So this is definitely a good one. So we can talk a lot about, our highest joy, our highest creativity, our soul-guided path. And then to some of us, or at some points in our lives, we may feel like, well, what highest creativity? I try to do this, I try to do that, and I can't seem to like make a pinprick to see the light of my creativity. What's happening? Do I even have this capacity? So this is a really great question. And I would say that to address it, we start with just being where we are. That it's totally okay to feel like we're out of touch where the voice of our heart is. We don't know where our highest creativity is. And to just start slow. To start slow, to open ourselves up, because there could be years of numbing. There could be multiple large experiences of numbness that have come into our bodies, into our fields. And just to say like, wow, it's amazing that we're intending to access our highest joy, our soul-guided creativity. Just that puts us on a whole different path than we may have been on at other parts in our life. And just to honor that intention. And just to let that intention for a little bit of time be that guiding rope that you follow. And don't lose faith in yourself. Don't lose faith in your own soul being connected with you, shining through you, moving through you. And come back to that practice that we shared in day 2 of calling in your presence, of, every morning in that kind of like inter time of sleep and a little bit of like unconscious, conscious moment of your psyche, call in your soul is like the first thing that you do upon waking up. Call in your creative presence. Massage the heart as you do that. Just like presence yourself to your body. Squeeze yourself like before you get out of bed, before you move. Try to remember to choose this kind of practice in the mornings. Just presence yourself. Call in your soul. Ask that today you see some sign of your creative heart. Ask that today you have whatever experience of joy is most appropriate for you to have today. And just start slow, with allowance, with love, with knowing that just this intention is enough right now. I honor you and I applaud you for taking this initiative, for choosing this, and for being so present with it that you are asking to step in further. Okay, so the next is a request for some examples of herbs that are supportive to the body. So I'm really glad to provide that. Just to preface, I would say that just please, use your own discernment, use your own research, your own guidance to really, I think the most fun part about herbs is getting to know them. is getting like a sense, like an intuitive experience of them. So like it's really great to mentally understand to some degree the herbs and their functions and their uses, and then also get an intuitive perspective. And that can come from actually like buying the herb and like smelling it and touching it, brewing up like a tea and looking at the color of it and just tasting it a little bit. So really get to know it in your own way. Okay, so some examples, I would say nettle. Nettle is a really great available herb that's available in almost like, you know, I know it's available in the northern hemisphere. Maybe some people from Australia can let me know, is it available to you in Australia? It's quite pervasive. You can harvest it yourself. You can purchase it. If you're harvesting, it's got spikies, so be aware of that. You can purchase it. It's super nutritive. This has a lot of vitamins and minerals in a very bioavailable form. So you can make it like a tea fusion into, so like fill it with water, you know, and fill it with boiling water and let it sit until the water is cool. So like a couple hours, then strain it, squeeze the herb to get all that extra juice out, you know, and then drink it throughout the day over 2 days, and just do that. So nettle, oat straw, I really love oat straw, or like milky oat tops. So this is like, you know, what we get like oats, like the porridge. So this is like the plant that it comes from. And this just makes such a lovely, like, such a lovely tea. So again, I brew all of my stuff like infusions and then just let it cool and drink it. So oat straw has such a lovely, gentle flavor. It has, again, like minerals for us. It's something, so both of these herbs that I'm mentioning are super safe for us. We can consume them in quite large quantities, like beyond what we would want to consume them in. And our bodies can just process it and handle it, and it can be nutritive even for younger people. And again, just do your research for yourself and use your discernment for yourself. So let's see, nettles, oat straw. I would say, you know, explore reishi. Reishi is an incredible medicinal mushroom with a lot of scientific research and like hundreds, if not thousands of years of human use. So this is a mushroom that's supportive to the immune system. So you don't eat it, you use it to brew a tea. It's sliced, and then you use it to brew a tea. If you use too much, the tea can be bitter. But if you use, you know, less, so now it's like in powder form. Now you can get it in all sorts of forms and capsules and tinctures. I really like to see the herb and brew my own tea because I really love like the tactile experience. But you can do, you know, whatever you're called to do, of course. So reishi is something to look into. It's got a slew of benefits for the nervous system. It can be really calming for stress. It nourishes like the spirit, or spirit. So like a calm, open, connected spirit is something that reishi is really great for. Let's see, I want to give you one more. I'm trying to like mentally look through my herbal cabinet. Something like lemon balm, you know, lemon balm, or maybe like thyme or oregano, or things that we actually look at as spices sometimes, can be really good teas with a lot of like antiviral properties. So right now for like cold and flu season, this can be a really beautiful thing to use. So you can use a tea with it. So give it a try. Put some honey in it. Put some lemon in it after, you know, after you've brewed it, to give it a little bit of a better flavor if that's what you need to imbibe it. It's really highly antiviral, really supportive to the immune system. A lot of the herbs that I work with are supportive to the immune system because I feel that that is our central guardian of our body, of our life, of our health, and so much is related to the immune system. So I really love to support that. Okay, so that was nettle, oat straw, reishi, and something like oregano, thyme, lemon balm. Okay. Okay, so let me just touch really quickly on a couple of these other questions. We have a question about moon phase awareness for female bodied people. So this is something that can be a rabbit hole, you know, and I would love to go into this with you personally. So for women, female-bodied people, so people that have like a menstrual cycle, and even after the body no longer has a menstrual cycle, this is still applicable. It's really interesting to work with the moon cycles and to look at how the menstrual cycle aligns with the moon and plan the month for times of greater activity and times of more internal activity like visioning and creative experiences. So this is something that I would say you can track your cycle, you can track the phases of the moon and look at the first half of your cycle after menstruation up until ovulation and see how that's possibly a more energetic time of your cycle, a more outward. And then as you come back in after ovulation toward menstruation, that being a more creative and spirit connected time. And just look at the moon phases, look at your cycle and combine that. This is really such a huge topic that I would love to go deeper into this with you one-on-one. Okay, so then another quick question here is, what if dreaming bigger seems not allowed, not accessible? What if it just doesn't feel real to dream big? Okay, great question. So yes, sometimes when we say, imagine your best life, and then we can hear these voices of, well, that's not possible. How can that be? I don't know. The point is that in that moment, we're not saying, hey, this is going to manifest in 2 minutes. In that moment of dreaming bigger, we're just massaging our imagination open. It's just for us. It's just between us and source. And it's just an exercise of imagining. So don't feel worried that something won't be allowed or won't be able to come true. We're actually using this exercise to expand our perception of what can be true. So it's okay if you come upon a wall, seeming wall that says, oh, I don't know about this. How can that be possible? Great. That means you've hit, one of your boundaries. Keep going anyways. This is like a secretive action between you and spirit and your imagination. Just try to go as big as you possibly can. And that's it. Just keep it, if that feels challenging to you, keep it within the confines of this exercise, this writing experience. No one has to know. Give yourself permission. Be the one that gives yourself permission to see where your imagination takes you. And then from there, a lot of different energetics are aligned within you. A lot of different feelings start to move. The first key thing is to just keep pushing those boundaries and seeing what kind of visions of your greatest life you can have. That's a great question. Thank you for that. Also, go accessible. If you're starting with $5 in your bank account and you're envisioning 2 million, maybe you'll feel resistance because that seems far away. And in some senses, it can be far away. Start with something smaller. Start with a number that does feel accessible. Slide those numbers and feel, oh, wow, yeah, this one feels really accessible. And then go just a bit higher. So whatever life it is that you want, find that point where, oh, yeah, this feels, I could really integrate this. This could be reality for me. And then go just a bit more. Okay. Whew. All right. We do have one other question here, and I'm just going to use that to tie everything together. So someone asked, so what exactly is soul path activation? I was looking at your website, and I just want to understand that deeper. What does that really mean? So great question. Thank you for that. I'm going to use this question to wrap us up here. So soul path activation. This is an experience, a phrase that came to me as an understanding of what we are all on, especially us right here together. So in my view, the first part of soul path activation is to be born. Born, yes, you're on your way to soul path activation. So then from there, from being born, many of us walk around and don't activate our soul path because maybe we believe that it's out of reach, or we believe that it's not as magnificent as it really can be. So soul path activation is all about getting on that road, which is our unique pathway that is connected, intrinsically connected with soul, with our unique expression of soul, with our opening of our heart to claim and live this experience, which our life deserves to be epic, really. So like the last question we had, how big can you imagine? How incredible of a life can you imagine? That's how incredible your life deserves to be. And that might not be something that becomes your tomorrow. And it's something that we can definitely move towards every day. So then when we look out at our life, 1 year from now, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, if we are blessed to stay alive in this body for that duration of time, I want to start my journey of 10 years from now today. And I recommit to the paradise. Cultivating my own paradise in my life today. No activation is living in alignment with your truest self and continuously discovering what that means for yourself every day. It also means taking the leap to a soul-guided life and saying, hey, yes, there is a heart-based something calling to me, asking me to look at it, knowing that is asking to be lived through me. And I'm curious enough to say yes. And I also feel like that is the way that my life will be, that my life will feel like I'm really honoring this life by saying yes to my heart in whatever way that shows up today. I'm really honoring myself, this precious life gift, by saying yes to activating my true soul path. And only I know the answers to this. Only, you know the answers to your own soul path. So I am here to support you in cultivating that connection with your intuition, with your heart. I am here to offer you effective, simple, grounded ways, grounded practices to move you into and onto your soul path in a fun, elegant, creative way. We get to have fun when we do this. We get to navigate the waves of life with grace and ease and joy. We really get to make this as exciting as we want. So yes, there's moments of seeing our pain and being with our pain. And there can be moments that feel like we're dying and falling apart. And there are ways to feel that deeply and go through and forward and emerge again as the butterfly again, and new layers will arise. And we have the tools, we have the soul connection, the heart connection with our divine power source every day to move through that. So that's really why I'm here and why I am so inspired by each and every one of us as we activate our soul path, as we claim our hearts as our compass, and as we realize and recognize the true gift that this life for sharing here. If you want to get this to be your unique kind of code for how this will really catapult you forward on your unique experience of soul path activation, I would love for one-on-one conversation to see how for you this can really be across a 3-month journey together. So I've designed something that I feel is so effective to, within 3 months, we move you into alignment with your greatest good more and more and more. You today to really facilitate your own connection with spirit, with intuition, with your greatest expression and fulfillment in this magnificent gift of a life. So as a part of that 3 months experience, I put together like a gift basket for you. And this is something that I take so much joy in. I love to do this for people. So I find that for myself, I really love to mix herbs together to create these nourishing elixirs and create like aromatic, delicious infusions. So I make a gift basket that I intuitively create through our interaction together for you with organic essential oil infused oils, with a special like elixir recipe like packet for you that you get to brew throughout our journey together. Sometimes I include a book in them. Sometimes there's like a crystal or something that's just like nourishing and beautiful and can like really serves to enhance our presence together. So this is something that's really fun and is a part of the 3 months experience together. So if you're feeling that this is something that you're interested in, let's get on a 30-minute call together. I'll include a link to that in the email that I send you with this replay. And you can also find that under the tab of work with me on my website. Just, have some time together, discuss your intentions, discuss where you are at now after this time together here in A Year by Design. I'm so excited to see you thrive. I'm so excited to see each of us light up across this planet and be our greater selves. It gives me goosebumps talking about this right now. See us light up and just love this life. We really, this planet needs us loving this life. This planet needs us to just be ecstatic in the moments that we are capable of ecstasy, and there are so many of those. So let's walk together. Let's walk together in this incredible journey. Thank you again for being here on these 3 days. I hope that creating this Year by Design serves your highest path of love, of your highest creative potential, and really brings you deeper into contact with your true essence, with your true soul. Thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes to and I will see you soon.